Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome.
Welcome. अजित कसा आहेस तू?
व्यवस्थित सर, मजेत. तुम्ही सांगा कशा आहात?
मी पण ठीक आहे. छान.
शंकर सर आले का?
शंकर महाबळ.
बॅकग्राऊंडला जर कोणाच्याकडे नॉईज असेल तर त्यांनी म्यूट वर ठेवावा, म्हणजे
हा प्लीज जरा थोडंसं एक कन्सर्न आहे की म्हणजे जिकडे आवाज येत असेल ना त्यांनी थोडंसं त्यांचा मायक्रोफोन म्यूट केला तर बरं होईल, ज्यावेळेस प्रश्न विचारायचा नसेल त्यावेळेस. शंकर,
बॅकग्राऊंड फार होत आहे, त्याला वेळ लागेल वाटतं असं दिसतंय.
हो, LIC चे डीओ जे आहेत असंच असतात, म्हणजे ते थोडंसं टेक सॅव्ही नसतात.
Until then, can I take it up, Shashi? Shashi,
Yes.
can I take it up?
Yeah,
Yes,
you can. Yes.
Yeah, Shashi,
Expert is there.
Yeah, answering to Deshpande sir's question, what basic things are required at the time of taking policy? One thing, let me clarify that all insurance companies are governed by IRDA and all rules are same. There is no difference between the rules. One. Second, while taking the policy, when we should declare everything, whatever we have. Okay, that means if you have any health problem, it should be declared upfront. I have this health problem. So in spite of that, they issue the policy, there is no problem. If they don't issue the policy upfront and they ask you to undergo the medical checkup, please go through the medical checkup. Don't fall into trap of that there are no medical checkups required and all that. So we are happy, come on, there is no medical checkup required. But if medical checkup is triggered, please go through the medical checkup. Declare whatever illness you have. Because I'll tell you a classical example. If I am a diabetic person and I'm taking some insurance policy, be it health insurance policy or life insurance policy. I am diabetic, but I am not declaring to the company. I am hiding that I am a diabetic. In that case, what happens is when the claim comes, that time we tell to the doctor, on the doctor, and we have to be truthful to the doctor that I am diabetic since last four years, and you have taken policy just 2 years back. Doctor notes down in the discharge summary the history of patient that he is diabetic since last 4 years, whereas you have taken policy just 2 years back. Okay, so now this is where you are caught, right, for non-disclosure of the facts. Okay, so please, whenever you take the policy, declare everything, whatever you have or your family member has. There, if you declare this, you will not get any problem at the time of settlement of the claim. This is one. Second, if medical is declared, if medical is triggered and if you are undergoing medical checkup, then I would request for the safer side to have the medical reports after the policy is issued, to have the medical reports in place in your records. And please discuss this with your family members that these are the medical reports which were done at the time of taking policy. So in case if there is any discrepancy at the time of claim, those reports can be used, right? So this is what care is to be.
Hello. Hope so. Let's say, Apurva. Apurva, are you there? Am I audible? Hello.
Because family will not have the time, or they will not have that during that tough period, they don't have the time to go through all this. This agent and development officer will work out all, and they will help them out.
Okay.
As you
I
have a
agree.
family doctor, you should have a family agent.
शशिकांत
Agreed, Ajay.
Yeah.
शशिकांत
Thanks.
पण सेकंड सेशन सुरू करूया आता. Other question
Thank
can
you.
be taken
Thanks a
offline.
lot, Apurva, Ajit, and Shankar and Sarang both.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So
Thank
now
you,
now
thank
we have a second speaker for our today's session. His name is his well-known personality in Ajinkyan alumni because he has fought for the, let's say, age for age of, let's say, entry age for Chinese school. Entry age for Chinese schools. So he has I think fought for last 4 or 5 years. Okay, and last year it was finally approved, and the relaxation of, like, say, 2 years span has been given for entry of the his name is Ravindra Deshpande, sir. He has done his Bachelor of Architecture, then Master of Architecture, and he has experience of around 30 years into valuation, design, and lot many things. I think he would be best, like, say, to introduce himself. So Ravindra sir, I would request you to, like, say, introduce yourself and start the session.
माझे
Sir.
रसला
Thank you.
meeting चालू आहे.
Others, please mute your phones.
Others, please.
Good evening, fellow Ajinkans. Good evening, all Ajinkans. This is Ravindra Deshpande. I was there in Sainik School from 1979 to 1986. Subsequently, I did my architecture. I started my work with some architects. I was teaching in D.Y. Patil College of Architecture, and then I started my practice as an architect and subsequently as a valuer. Now, the topic for the day today is real estate for basic need and for investment. So maybe you must have come across the name रोटी कपड़ा और मकान. तो रोटी कपड़ा और मकान ये जो है तीनों इंसान की जरूरतें हैं, और ये खाली मूवी का नाम नहीं है, तो ये एक जरूरत भी है. तो इसमें से मकान जो है, हाउसिंग जो है, that is what pertains to my field. So most of us, we go through various phases of life. हमारा एक पहले childhood होता है, which is generally carefree, and I think that is the best part of our life, which we had enjoyed as our school life. Subsequently comes the education, career, and then the family life. Once you finish your education and you get into your career. Now you come to a marriageable age, you may be having a parental home or you may not have a parental home. Now supposing you want to have a home of yourself, you start looking for some property, depending upon whatever the budget that you have, whatever the savings that you have, you start looking for a house. Now बेसिकली अलग अलग लोगों की अलग अलग सोच रहती है कि भाई जब पेरेंट्स है वो सोचते हैं कि मतलब लड़के के पेरेंट्स है वो सोचते हैं कि भाई अपना बंदा है वो सेटल होना चाहिए. लड़की के जो पेरेंट्स है वो सोचते हैं कि भाई घर हो अगर लड़के का तो अच्छा है, वेल सेटल्ड रहेगा, हमारी बेटी क्या ये जिंदगी भर EMI भरते बैठेगी क्या. So that happens to be a part of basic requirement, and at the same time it also happens to be a major portion of the investment or wealth of a person, especially in the Indian context. Now it is related, it is if you are in rural areas or semi-urban areas, things are not really very complicated as they are in the urban context. And in the urban context, the demand supply mismatch is generally there, so because of this demand supply mismatch, things are somewhat tricky. तो कभी-कभी ये होता है कि आपको घर खरीदने से अच्छा है कि आप रेंट पे रहोगे तो ज्यादा अच्छा रहता है, so that you are not stressed with, especially at the initial stage of your career, rather than getting stressed out with the EMIs, heavy EMIs. It is better that you start saving, you start investing in some other avenues like the equity markets. You have build up a corpus, and then you go for start hunting for a home rather than starting at day one. So that is my suggestion. So equity markets offer some good returns, especially when they are falling like they are at present. And the paradox that we have in our real estate is like whenever we want to buy the property, people want to buy the property when the market is low. But when they buy the property, next day they expect that their property appreciates. So it's really, surprising. But at the same time, that's a human psychology. We can't do anything to that. But we have to, be patient, especially if it is for the basic need. There may come a situation where a person buys a property and the property rates fall down. We should not get affected by that, because it happens to be our basic need. Rather than thinking of the losses or the notional losses, it is better that we continue to pay EMIs, because otherwise the interest burdens keep increasing. And anyway, there's no way out. We have to fulfill our financial obligations. Now, affordability is related to the disposable income and the job assurance of a person. So these are some things which are related to macroeconomics, and also your particular field in which you work. Now, what happens is, when you buy a property, you are spending a major chunk of your past savings, and at the same time you are also committing a large portion of your future earnings. It could be close to 50%, it could be more than 50% in some cases. So whenever you buy a real estate or whenever you buy a property, you really have to be very, very careful, because if you go wrong at that particular stage, then you could mess up your finances. And in Marathi what we say is की धरलं तर चावतंय आणि सोडलं तर पळतंय. अशी ती परिस्थिती होते की तुम्ही ते सोडूही शकत नाही, कारण ते पैसे तुमचे इज हार्ड, युअर हार्ड अर्न मनी. And at the same time, if you are going after it, it affects all your other, it eats up your time. You have invested, it's a foolish decision that you may have taken. So you want to recover your money, and the other fellow is not, willing to pay you back, or तुम्हाला तिथे चक्रा मारायला लागत आहेत आणि तुम्हाला ते पैसे मिळत नाहीत सहजासहजी. अशा पद्धतीने ती इन्व्हेस्टमेंट कधी नसावी. सो आपल्याला इन्व्हेस्टमेंट आपण ज्या वेळेला रिअल इस्टेट मध्ये करतो, बेसिक नीड साठी किंवा इन्व्हेस्टमेंट साठी, तर आपण then you should involve 3 professionals all the time. Whether you are buying a property or whether you are selling a property, you should consult 3 professionals. The 3 professionals are an architect and a valuer. It could be a civil engineer and a valuer also, but I would believe architects are better placed as far as development control regulations and other issues are concerned. So preferable to go for an architect and a valuer, and then a chartered accountant, because you should understand the taxation perspectives also. While you are buying or whether you are selling, you should understand the tax perspectives also. One of our friends, he wanted to buy, he already had a plot of land for his hospital, and I suggested, if he could get additional property, that's the adjoining property, he should take it, because the shape of the plot was such, it was something turning out to be like a railway dabba. So a lot of space was being wasted. It was basically for hospital. So I said, if you get the adjoining plot, you could get better plans done, and space also would not be a problem, and utility could be more. So he purchased the property, but then what happened is he purchased it in his a friend's name, or a co-owner. They were all related people, but at the same time what happened, when the stage came for taking loan, they face some issues, so that should not happen. So you should consult a chartered accountant, you should consult an advocate, and you should also consult an architect for buying a property. Now what does the architect do? The architect verifies whether all the approvals are in place. Now we have an Ajinkyan here, our own Mr. Ravindra Bhosle. He has his LPG agency. Whenever he wants, or any of his staff want to buy any property, they generally consult me. And as a goodwill and out of relations, I have been, going with them. And they have been, getting a foolproof property, because, I go through the drawings, I see whether the title is there, whether all the approvals are in place, if the NOCs are obtained, and if the conditions of those approvals and NOCs are fulfilled or not. Now that is what an architect would do. The advocate would take care of the issues related to the title, or the title search is taken by the advocate. Now, if you are buying a property through the builders, then you generally are not required to do that, because the builder is supposed to give you a clear title property. But even then, it is better that you read the whole document. Now, if you see these earlier days, say maybe 30-40 years before, the documents for the sale or transfer of a property were hardly some 5-7 pages documents, whereas these days when you have the agreements prepared, it could run into say 50, 70, 100 or 150 pages. So nobody really puts in that effort to read the entire document. If I don't know how many of you have really read your own documents that you have, through which you have got your purchase your properties. Because if you read the documents, at times there are instances where the developer also declares that there are issues with the title of the property, with some particular portions of the lands. If it is especially a larger project, let's say the project is spread over 5, 10, 20, 50 acres, then there could be problems with portions of the lands. So even in CIDCO areas, the plans are approved, the completion certificate is also granted, but the completion certificate also states that the completion certificate or the occupancy certificate is issued subject to court case number so and so. So in case the other party has any claims, then the situation becomes tricky. And one more care that we need to take when you're buying a property from the developers is whether the developer has obtained any project finance. Because in no developer or majority of the developers, they would go for project finance. Nobody puts their own money. Nobody invests. No developer invests his 100% money is own money. They do take loans from the for their projects. Now I know of a case here in Navi Mumbai, Belapur itself, wherein there are three categories of buyers. One category is people have put in 100% their own finance, and they have not gone into the detail of checking the title of the property. They have just paid 100% money to the developer and purchased the plot. Then there are people who have booked the flat as soon as the project was declared, and the developer has subsequently obtained project finance. And the third category is the developer has obtained project finance, and then the people have booked the flats with him. So the third category, I would say, is the safest category, because whenever they have taken the finance, they their lenders, the individual borrowers, their lenders have insisted for obtaining the no objection certificate of the lender of the builder. So that is where since they have the NOC, they are better placed as compared to the other flat holders. Now it is a tricky situation, because the amount that was borrowed was somewhere around 20 crores, and now with all the interest and all that, it has gone up to more than 30 crores. So one has to be really be very careful when you are buying a property, either from a builder or a developer, or if it is in a resale market also. So the basic principle in real estate is buyer beware. You see on the gates, when you go visit some premises, they state beware of dogs. Okay, now in real estate, it is buyer beware. The buyer has to be aware. He has to be prudent buyer. He has to take all the due care. And the first and foremost thing, with whatever the intelligence that we have, we must read our document or format of the document before you sign on the dotted line. Because once you sign on the dotted line, you cannot say that I was not aware of this, I was not aware of that. You must get all the clarifications, because in most of the cases the builders also state that all the relevant documents had been furnished to the buyer, and the buyer is satisfied about these, and it is then that he has entered into the contract. So you should satisfy yourself. You should take those efforts to read the document, study the drawings, read the approvals, read the NOCs, because you are, as I said initially, you are putting in all your hard-earned savings and you are committing your future earnings for that particular investment. So now some of us may have that question, what is with RERA? Now RERA has been passed. The act has been passed uh, primarily to take care of the gullible the gullible buyers or the layman, to protect the interest of the layman. However, I would say, in spite of whatever the efforts that have been taken by the government, or even if that act is passed, there still happen to be cases where people, the buyers especially, they are not careful, and the developer, the mediators, they may be registering themselves as estate agents, because in RERA you have to register the project and you have to also register the estate agents also have to register themselves. So there are some issues. You see advertisements in 5 minutes from Navi Mumbai airport or new international airport, so and so property at 500 rupees a square foot or 1000 rupees a square foot. People really fall for these kind of schemes. अँड आय डोंट नो की मराठीमध्ये म्हणतात की आपण आपलं डोकं घाण ठेवतो की काय मला माहिती नाही पण बरेच लोक ह्या अशा स्कीम्सला दे फॉल अ प्रे टू दिस दे डोंट गेट इन टू they don't investigate the things which they should be doing. So I would suggest that you should take a look at these. अशा बऱ्याचशा स्कीम्स मध्ये काय होतं की जो सेलर आहे किंवा सेलरचा जो एजंट आहे तो बऱ्याचदा तुम्हाला सांगतो कि आज का रेट है ये 500 रुपया स्क्वायर फुट है हम लोग का अप्रूवल्स है वो प्रोसेस में है और जब ये अप्रूवल हो जाएगा तो दूसरे दिन हम लोग उसका 1000 रुपया करने वाले हैं. So we start dreaming about our investment being doubled overnight, whereas things are not that easy. I know some people who have invested say maybe 9-10 lakh rupees for a plot of 30 lakhs. The agreement mutual consideration is 30 lakhs. They have paid some 9-10 lakh rupees, 9 or 10 lakh rupees, and nothing goes beyond that. So you can't really get back the money also, and you are not in a position to complete the deal also. So you have to be really careful, when you invest. So बऱ्याच वेळेला काय होतं की आपण कागदपत्र नीट वाचत नाही. याच्यामुळे ऍज अन आर्किटेक्ट आय कम अक्रॉस पीपल, ऍज अ व्हॅल्युअर ऑल्सो आय कम अक्रॉस मेनी केसेस. At times, I have seen, we are as valuers, we are on panel of many banks. We see even bankers or their very close relatives, they buy property. All of us, majority of us are Maharashtrians here. Marathi happens to be our mother tongue. NA orders generally are issued in Marathi. The NA order states that the NA is issued for industrial purpose, and people buy a flat, and the NA order also shows that there are two types of buildings. One is ground floor structure and the other one is ground plus one structure, whereas the agreement is being done for a flat on the second floor. Now this kind of disconnects also are not really observed by the buyers, which actually a prudent buyer should take a look at this. If the NA order is issued for industrial use, why is the residential project being done without change of user, permission for change of user being obtained? And if the NA order states that and it forms a part of that agreement, NA order states that the structures are ground floor and ground plus one floor, and people are buying flat on the second floor or maybe on the third floor also. So you have to be you have to protect your own money. You have to take care of your own interests. In this regard, I would suggest that people should see this movie, Sri 420. Though Raj Kapoor is no more, I believe unless the we buyers are there to think objectively, think rationally, I think Ranbir Kapoor or even his grandson also could make a movie on that few decades down the line, unless we protect our own interests. And the second movie that I would suggest people to see is Khosla Ka Ghosla. Now, all these things of they are all classic examples of how the buyers are duped. Now, one of these is related to some schemes, and the other one is the Sri Charsobis movie is related to some schemes by some fraudsters, and the other one is related to how the land that you really own is usurped by the fraudsters. प्रॉब्लेम असा आहे की आपण आपलं डोकं पुढे केलं की जग आपल्याला जे येते ते टोपी घालायला बसलेलंच आहे. त्याच्यामुळे आपण आपलं डोकं पुढे करायचं का नाही हा आपल्यावरचा आपली जबाबदारी होते. When it comes to purchase of a property, I would suggest you prepare a matrix. Like when I was to buy a property here in Navi Mumbai, I had a few considerations. So maybe everybody's matrix can vary. It need not necessarily be the same. See, when I purchased property here in Navi Mumbai, I had different criteria. One is I was in need of an office, I was in need of a house. Then second thing is my route for commuting was decided. My workplace was there in Nerul. I belong to Satara. Then my relatives, a lot of my relatives, they are towards Pune. So commuting wise, I had two options. One is on Thane Belapur Road, and the other one is Sion Panvel Road. Now Belapur happens to be on common of both these. So that was the matrix that I had prepared. So I had given some points as to how many points I give for commuting towards my workplace, commuting towards my regular other travels. Then budget was also a criteria, and my requirements also, whatever stage of my life was, schools, colleges, educational institutions. तो ये सब को हम लोग जो है वो कुछ पॉइंट्स दे सकते हैं 1 to 5, or it could be on a scale of 1 to 10. And it is then that if you take a rational decision, it really helps you in deciding whether you can localize your or तुम्ही आपला जो काही एरिया आहे तो डिमार्केट करू शकतो, लोकॅलिटी आपण डिफाईन करू शकतो, and then you can focus on it, and then you can decide as to how you could go about, and you start searching for the project within your budget. When you talk about investment, generally core areas of the city, they appreciate lower when it comes to residential properties. जे पेरिफेरल एरियाज आहेत किंवा जे शहराच्या बाहेरचे जे एरियाज आहेत, हे जनरली याचा रेट ऑफ अप्रिसिएशन जो आहे हा फार मोठा होत राहतो. 2-3 कारण आहेत. एक म्हणजे शहरामध्ये जरी प्रॉपर्टीचा जो सप्लाय आहे तो बऱ्यापैकी अवेलेबल राहतो. त्याच्यानंतर द लँड होल्डिंग्स अँड द इश्यूज रिलेटेड टू लँड, they are more in the core or heart of the city, whereas in the peripheral areas you have larger holdings where you get better amenities. And with the natural growth and migration of people from rural areas towards the urban areas, cities naturally grow. So when the cities naturally grow, the peripheral areas also become part of the main town over a period of time. If you see Pune, the rate of appreciation within Sadashivpet, and if you see the rate of appreciation in areas like Aund or Baner, rate of appreciation in Aund and Baner would be much higher than proper Sadashivpet or Shaniwarpet. And you don't have other issues of parking. So you have to form your own matrix as to what are your criteria for purchasing the property, and accordingly you can decide on it. Then real estate market is really a cyclic market. There are booms, there are busts, there is an uptrend, there is a downtrend. So we have to take care of all this. Generally the uptrend is felt for a long time, so people always have a feeling that it's only a one-way journey that is going up, but it is never so. We really have to be mentally prepared for accepting a downturn also. I remember that was sometime around 2008, 2007-8. One of the bank managers, he asked me कि सर ये उल्वा में हमको एक सोसाइटी में मैं ज्वाइन कर रहा हूँ, तो क्या मैंने ज्वाइन करना चाहिए? इट वाज अ बीआरसी सोसाइटी एंड दे वर ऑफरिंग हिम कि सर आप भी हमारे साथ में जुड़ जाइए. So he joined that society. They had purchased land at something around 27,000, 28,000 rupees a square meter. I told him कि सर आज का जो सिनेरियो है उसके हिसाब से ऐसे भी हो सकता है कि ये 27-28 हजार का आपका जो 18-19 हजार पे भी आ सकता है रेट। तो उसका अगर आपको दुख नहीं होने वाला है तो आप इसमें इन्वेस्ट कीजिए। और लेकिन ये भी हो सकता है कि 17-18-19 हजार रुपया स्क्वायर मीटर के बाद में ये रेट जो है ये 70-80 हजार रुपया, 90 हजार रुपया, 1 लाख रुपया स्क्वायर मीटर भी हो सकता है। So, like in the equity market, you have some, you know, ups and downs. Similar in the real estate also, there are ups and downs. So, you should be mentally prepared, and you should not be, you know, chicken-hearted to get stressed because of whatever are the ups and downs. Especially when you are buying it for your own use, never bother about this. And if you are buying about investment, you should study the market, you should study the project, you should consult proper professionals, and then you should buy. Now that is about the sharing of some of my experiences and whatever I had to say about investment or purchasing property in as buyer for basic need or as an investor. Now I do have some other points to share. Mainly, you know, we all are home. We can all sit at home, and we are probably utilizing our time in sharing our knowledge or enlightening our fellow Ajinkyans and our friends about our own field of activity. There is a general feeling that whatever the call that we are making, it is routed through China. You know, we are on a Zoom app, and though the owner of the promoter of this company happens to be in US, he is a Chinese, and all these data and whatever we are talking about is being routed through China. So whatever current problem that we have, it is because of the Chinese. So there has been a loss of trust for the Chinese. Now, if India were to take advantage on a global scene about whatever the problems have been caused because of the Chinese, we need to have a stable market. It can't be suddenly, you know, you start getting advantage of the rates keep rising dramatically, and they also start falling dramatically. That I'm talking about the real estate. Now, if that kind of a scenario is there, it is really difficult for the entrepreneurs to, you know, function. If an industrialist were to put in his money for buying land for his industry, or if a doctor were to buy a property for his hospital, if a lot of his money is getting blocked in real estate, he would be left with less of capital for his working capital, you know, regular operational costs. He would be left with less money for that. Now that should not be the case. The real estate market should be stable. If we were to compete globally, if we were to, you know, become a manufacturing hub, or if we were to you know, have foreign capital flowing in, so that policy flip-flops also have to be minimized. In fact, they should be avoided, and capital should be available to the entrepreneurs at a lower rate. So real estate में पैसा ज़्यादा डालने से अच्छा ये है कि पैसा जो है वो इक्विटी मार्केट में जाना चाहिए. The equity penetration is really very low in India. That is because there is a loss of trust that people have. The retail investors, they are not really. Though my topic happens to be related to real estate, you know, this is the third part that I have taken. We should really be concerned about this as a fraternity. And when you're taking loan for purchase of property, please don't be lazy. You know, you should shop for a loan. You should see whatever are the rate of interest that you have, foreclosure charges. You should approach different lenders with all your documents. Then they also charge if there are any foreclosure charges, because there are many private lenders who could be still charging for foreclosure charges. Please avoid that. Just because they are processing your home loan or your loan, when you are sitting at home or you are still continue to work, don't go for them. You should, maybe nationalized banks are better for this. And they also go for cross-selling, like insurance policies are sold at higher rates, and you come to know about that at a stage where, you know, you can't go to some other lender also. So in advance, you should get to know about all this. Then the borrowers are also insured by the lenders. So whether that loan amount is insured, let's say you pay 2-3 installments and the person is no more, so the balance loan amount, whatever is the sum assured out of that, the entire loan is settled. So that kind of policies are also available in the market. But it is always better to go for a term plan rather than insurance policies related to your property. And you should also insure your property. You should go for a standard fire and special peril policy, so that all the eventualities are taken care of. Read the insurance policy also clearly, so that you do not violate any of the conditions. And if there are any issues, you can go to the court. Otherwise, if you are not read even the policy conditions before signing on the dotted line, even for the insurance, it would not really serve the purpose. Insurance, we began, whatever the session that we began today, it was related to insurance. Unless the insurance serves the need, whenever the need arises, it works on law of probabilities. Now the probability of a person meeting with an accident is lower. So it's not that the person will not meet with an accident, but unless all the disclosures are made in time and they are made in advance and the insurance premium is adjusted accordingly, you would not be paid the sum assured when whenever that need arises. So same would hold good for even real estate. Your property, if it is residential property being used for commercial purposes, or maybe if you are storing hazardous goods, your claim could be rejected. So all these are issues are related to the real estate, and we have to take due care from the beginning, because after all, it's your life, it's your money, it's your wealth, your family. You have to protect it. So that's it for now, and I think I'm just left with 1 or 2 minutes. In case there are any questions, maybe we may have to reboot. I thank all the organizers and Ajinkans for participating. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, sir. People, let's say, if you have any queries, you can because we have left off with 1 minute 50 seconds. So we may continue again once it gets disconnected. So please be ready with your questions, so that, let's say, Ravindra sir will answer your queries. Yeah, please. Hello. Hello. Am I audible? Hello. Hello.
Now even Sainik School also should take it up, because whoever are entering Sainik School now, 6th standard, they are in the age group of 10 to 12 instead of 10 to 11, and for 9th standard, instead of 13 to 14, now they are in 13 to 15 age group. So the number of attempts that they will get for NDA would be lesser than the students of other schools or other states, I should say. So now the school should take it up to the Government of India and Ministry of Defense and UPSC for वो जो एडजस्टमेंट होना चाहिए वो केजी टू पीजी होना चाहिए. पीजी टू केजी है उनका. अब तक का जो लॉजिक है वो पीजी टू केजी है. Somehow I have been saying कि you cannot reverse the clock, but they have been thinking of reversing the clock कि बच्चा जो है पहले वो पीजी का क्या क्राइटेरिया उसके हिसाब से वो 12th का